our next inductee, Jenny Hines, the women's tennis coach from the University of Alabama. I would like very much to have the women's team from the University of Alabama please stand. Thank you, girls. Thank you. It means a lot to have young people here. Jenny will be introduced tonight by her high school tennis coach, John Peterson. John is from Tyler, Texas. In talking with John a few weeks ago in preparation for this meeting, John said, "I don't know why Jenny asked me to introduce her. She could have had Nick Saban." I'm going to give you a few facts about John, and you'll understand why she did ask him and what a difference he has made in her life. In college, John lettered in football 4 years. He lettered in basketball 2 years and track 1 year. After college, he was a physical education teacher and coached football, basketball, track, and tennis. Somewhere along that time, he spent 4 years in the Air Force and had 27 of his players, tennis players, get collegiate scholarships. In 1987, he was offered and took the job at Tyler Junior College as the director of tennis and the head coach there. He was there from 1987 to 2011 and won 25 national championships. He has been honored by any number of organizations. He is in the Hall of Fame of the Intercollegiate Tennis Association. He is in the Hall of Fame of the Men's National Junior College Tennis Association, the Women's National Junior College Tennis Association, the Texas Tennis Museum Hall of Fame, and the Texas Tennis Coaches Hall of Fame. He is the only person ever to be designated as the Coach of the Decade in both the Men's and Women's Tennis Hall of Fame by the Intercollegiate Tennis Association. Please welcome the Nick Saban of tennis, John Peterson.
That sounded pretty impressive. Congratulations to Dottie and to Eleonora. It was great hearing your stories, and I want to tell you what an honor it is to have this young lady ask me to present her. I've obviously known her for a long time, and I want to thank the committee for honoring her, bringing me to Montgomery. We've had a good, my wife and I, Dorothy, sitting back there. We've had a good time in Montgomery and watching the tennis, and been watching Roll Tide. I've been watching the Tide for the last quite a few years, and it's a pleasure to watch those young ladies play. That is one really good team, and I look forward to seeing them in Waco in May. Before I get into Jenny too much, I want to introduce her mother sitting in the audience. Patty Mines has come from Dallas to be here to share in this honor, and obviously I've known her. She was very important in this career, and important to me too, but she was the one that probably picked up the pieces when Dad, Ed, who passed away just a few short years ago due to ALS, he was the tennis motivator and got all of his kids started in tennis. And when he was in tennis, she would be the mother hen. And when I took this high school job, we'd go anywhere to play in Texas. It's kind of a big state, too. And our budget was rather tiny, but we had a booster club for all the sports there, and I applied to get some money out of the booster club to help us out. And found out that tennis was rather low on the pecking order there. So Miss Mines and some of the other mothers started our own booster club, and they used to make egg rolls and sell them. Believe it or not, egg rolls sent us to a lot of tournaments. So I owe her a debt also. When I was there for 9 years, it was a good gig. I loved San Antonio. I loved that high school. I promised my wife we'd never leave San Antonio, and of course we did. But I had her older sister, Susan. She's 2 years older than Jenny. And Susan was a very good player, top 10 Texas junior. That makes you a good player. Did a great job for us. And people would say, wait till you get her little sister. Wait till you get Jenny. She's going to really be good. So those of you who play know that that can be a terrible curse to grow up always compared to somebody else. But she was the real deal. Those 4 years went so fast. You can read the bio in there and see how she did as a college player. You know, she's a very good college player. The thing that stands out for me, now to start, somebody said nobody thinks they're going to be in the Hall of Fame. I think she did. You know, I think she did when she was probably 10 years old. I'll be in the Hall of Fame for something sometime. That would fit her personality. But when she started off her first year, we had a good team. We played just like we watched the Tide play at Roll Tide. Just like we watched the Tide play this afternoon. They played 9 matches out there. Texas high school tennis is 18 because the boys and the girls are all together. Takes a while, but that's how they play their team tennis in the fall. And her freshman year, we had a good team. We made it all the way to the state finals. We were playing a team out of Houston Klein High School, and we didn't win. We finished second in the state. The freshman, after the match, comes up to me and she starts consoling me. I'm feeling pretty good. We got second in the state. But she says, we'll do better. We'll do better next year. And we did. We won it the next 3 years. Powerful engine. She and her sister won one of the spring titles. They were the top doubles team in the state of Texas one year. They had the National Interscholastics in San Antonio at one of the academies. And we entered enough girls to accrue enough points. We were the national girls high school champions one year in San Antonio. So we had a good run. And a lot of it lies right here with Jenny Mines. What a powerful engine. She crackles with energy. She crackled with energy back in the 80s. She still crackles with that energy. And that's why the Tide hired her. And I'm going to confess, I told her not to take that job. She had a great gig. I mean, that's quite a few years ago. She was a youngster then. And she'd been an assistant coach. She worked for the University of Houston, helping out there. Then she went to Florida State. And then she got a head job at a very young age at the University of Iowa, in Iowa City. I thought that was pretty good. And she told me that she might have a chance to get the job at the University of Alabama after 2 years. I said, Jenny, you sure? Because I'm a native Iowan, so it's okay if I disparage them a little bit. That's not a big tennis state. Dorothy and I grew up in a little town that didn't have tennis. I didn't even know it was a sport till I was in my 20s, that you could play it. Not a lot of players there. But there was very little pressure on her. Big Ten, it's a good conference. All she had to do was be mediocre, and they'd probably have a statue there now in Iowa City of her if she'd stayed. But in the fall, they took the fences down, they took the nets down, and they parked cars on the courts on football weekends. She didn't like that. So it wasn't big on their agenda. And I told her, sorry, I hope this doesn't hurt your feelings, but I told her, the University of Alabama is not very good. And that Southeast Conference, It is very good. And they're going to expect you to win. They're going to put pressure on you. And that's who she is. She wanted that pressure. And she also wanted to get out a winner. How'd you like it yesterday? That was good. And she called me a couple times early in her tenure at Alabama, and it wasn't going very well. Didn't have those girls. I don't think they won a match in the Southeast Conference for the first 3 years. So I'm sure some of those administrators were wondering, But obviously, she turned it around. And I want to thank the University of Alabama for having the patience to stay with Coach Mines. I didn't ever set out to be a tennis coach. That's a long story, I won't go into it, but obviously I was a tennis coach for a long time. But I've kind of did set out to be a coach. And I've studied coaches, I've watched coaches, I still watch coaches. I read all the books on coaching. I've read all the books on coaches. Football, basketball, track, tennis, it didn't make any difference. And you know, there's not any template. There is not any one way for success. A lot of different approaches will work. I might not want to send my child to certain successful coaches, but their tactics, their philosophy, it will work. I've watched her be a coach for a long time, and I can tell she's the kind of coach that I would have thought that she would have turned into. You girls, I don't know how much you know, but she cares about you like you're family. You are family. And I'm sure she tries to create that family atmosphere. You're not pawns that she's willing to sacrifice. When you're hurting, Mines is hurt. I can tell you that. She hurts. She feels it probably deeper than you. When you fail, something fails inside of her. And she'll care for you till you're 80. She has a great staff. She has a great system, a great support system at the University of Alabama. It's one of the most prestigious institutions. Everything can be done right. And it starts with her. She does it right. She works her rear end off. I know she puts pressure on you girls to work your rear ends off too. But she has your best interest in mind. She isn't just coaching you for tomorrow's final. She isn't coaching you for Friday's match. She's coaching you. She's a life coach. She's hoping that your time at the University of Alabama and your time with her will contain value that's going to help you well into whatever your subsequent career is going to be. And she's coaching you so that you will hold a fondness for her, your assistant coaches, for the University of Alabama that will last you a lifetime. And that when you raise your own children, some of the values that she's tried to instill in you will be paramount in your minds. That's the kind of person she is. That's the kind of person that Patty and Ed raised her to be, and all their other kids too. I had the most fun. I could tell. I told her I wouldn't. I'm not going to tell any stories on her. She was not perfect. When you have that much energy, you're going to bang into a few walls. But she always bounced off those walls quite well and recovered quite well. She was our engine for 4 years, captain at Houston for 3 years. That's quite a feat to be captain when you're a sophomore, and to be captain for 3 years. A great leader, and it started early, and I just tell you, I love Jenny Mines. back when she was a freshman, and I still do. And I wish that everybody would have an opportunity coached by somebody with this much energy, this much enthusiasm, and this much integrity. I should have mentioned, she's a tireless worker, not just for Alabama tennis, but all tennis. David Benjamin at the ITA, I know that he depends on her for a lot of committee work through the ITA. She's a tireless worker. And the coaches, she's been Coach of the Year. I mean, she's had so many accolades, and this is the icing on the cake, to be in the Alabama Hall of Fame. What an honor. And I give you Miss Jenny Mines.
That's why I asked him to come. Because he always makes me feel like I can do anything. And it's always been that way. I would too like to congratulate Eleonora. I've known Eleonora a long time. We were fortunate to, our paths crossed a long time ago in Tuscaloosa, and I've actually played doubles with Eleonora in some tournaments out at Indian Hills.
The only one that can make you lose.
I don't know about that, but we both have one-handed backhands. And I am convinced that that note that she wrote to Malmore all those years ago, I think he read that note. So I'm forever grateful for that as well. Thank you. The one word that I would use to describe Eleonora is genuine. All the hours that she's volunteered, it doesn't surprise me that Keith could list off all those things. She's the most unselfish person and has given so much to tennis, but so much to the community, and now she's down in Fairhope, but she does so much for tennis and provides so many opportunities for kids and all of us. So this is a big night for you and you deserve it. I didn't have the chance really to know Charlie Lane. I wish I would have, much like Eleonora said. I feel like in talking with some people that I got to know him a little bit, and the one thing that everybody said about Charlie Lane when I asked was how funny he was. And then I did a little bit of research and read a little bit about him, and I know that he was an extraordinary person, an extraordinary coach. And I know his team is here tonight, and I'm sure they're going to be honored and recognized. And I'm sure that he's instilled in all of you a lot of his qualities and his good humor and strong work ethic, his passion for tennis. They're ranked 3 in the country, I think, going into their season, the Hawks. And wish you guys a lot of luck. And I hope that you play with his spirit all season and with a lot of fight and a lot of tenacity. I'm certain that you will, but we're sorry for your loss, and he'll be watching all your matches. He'll have a good seat for all of them, I'm sure. Dottie, congratulations. I know you put in a lot of time, all the volunteer time that was mentioned, and to have an award for Hubert Kessler. I knew Hubert pretty well. I had the privilege of knowing him and working with him quite a bit in the TTA with Emily Baker, and Hubert was a very special man, and he too was passionate about tennis. So, but congratulations. There's a lot of people to thank, and I don't think I'm gonna take a stab at that tonight. I'm very thankful for everybody that's here, whether it's on behalf of Eleonora, Dottie, Charlie. The one word that kept kind of crossing my mind when Jeff Gray called me and told me about this prestigious award was how thankful I am and how abundantly blessed I've been in my life. See, the thing is, you know, I appreciate you saying I'm a hero, but I'm not a hero. The thing is that I've been given so much And I've been surrounded by such wonderful, giving, loving, supportive, encouraging people all my life. Starting with my mom and my dad, who could not be here, but he too has he's listening, and he's got a good seat too, and I know he's very proud of me. And the thing is that my parents always taught me that I could do anything. And I tell my team that all the time. They never said I couldn't do anything. I'm sure sometimes they probably rolled their eyes and thought, oh gosh. But they never showed us that, and they never told us that. I'm the middle of 5 kids. And I had to kind of throw some elbows and kick and scratch a little bit to be good, because my sister was really good. She was a great competitor. I think she was great at everything. And but the thing that I always remember and talk to my team about now is that I've been surrounded by so many people that have believed in me, and really a lot of times when I didn't give them any reason to. The story that Coach Peterson mentioned to you about getting to Alabama, when I got to Alabama, it was scary. I went to PE classes. I tell people this, I don't think they really believe me. This is a true story. We didn't have a team. It just sort of came apart. The number 1 player transferred to Florida. We had someone tear their rotator cuff. We had another player tear her ACL. I had 1 player quit. Gosh, I hadn't even gotten there yet. I was like, at least give me a shot, you know? You might like me, you never know. But by the time I got there, my assistant coach, Jen Hyde, who's now the head coach at Florida State, I said, well, we're going to have to make flyers, and we're going to have to go to sororities and PE classes, and we're going to have to get some players, because we didn't have enough people to field the team. They told me that you have to have at least 5 players for at least 12 matches to maintain Division I status. And I was like, ooh, we got 4 players. And I called the Florida coach, Andy Brandy, and I said, Andy, we've got 4 players, and we're supposed to come play you next week. And he was from Puerto Rico, and he goes, don't come. I was like, well, we're on your schedule, we're in the SEC, so, you know, we're going to come. He said, I tell you what, when you get 6 players on the team, call me back, and then you can come. So we recruited out of the sororities and PE classes, and we found 6 players. One of the walk-ons wanted to quit. I said, you can't quit. We have to play 12 matches, you know, with 5 or more players. So we were 0-21 my first year. We won 3 matches my second year. They were the first 3 matches of the season. So you can imagine what the rest of the season was like. And then the third year we won 7 matches. So we won 10 matches total in 3 years. No SEC matches. So Mal Moore, who many of you probably know, he was our athletic director at Alabama for a long time and passed away. An unfortunate, he got sick kind of suddenly, and his legacy will live forever, not just at Alabama, but well beyond. But he called me in after my 3rd year in June. I'll never forget it. We were in the middle of camp, and he called me in, and I was like, oof, this isn't good. So he called me in, and he said, Jenny, I really like you. And he said, I don't know any other tennis coaches. I said, okay, I guess both of those things are good. But he said, if you don't win and win in the SEC, I'm gonna have to find somebody else. And that was after year 3. So when I left his office, I thought to myself, gosh, what a failure, you know. We were getting there, but you know, it's on the coach. But the thing is, I did feel like we were doing the right things, and I felt like we were doing it with the right people. But it's hard to see that when you're not winning matches. We were 0-36 in the SEC with the SEC tournament included. So, you know, he certainly had every right to call me in. And most of you out there are thinking, why is she being inducted into the But we went to Florida State. It was 2001. We went to Florida State and we won. And I thought, okay. And I remember my first phone call, I called my parents and I was like, okay, this is good. And then I remember we went down, we played, Mississippi State was our first SEC match. And I'll tell this story quickly. My poor team has heard this so many times. My assistant coach at the time said, he called me boss, and he said, boss, I'm gonna put my running shoes by the door. After we win, I'm gonna put my running shoes on, and I'm going for a run, and I just want you to enjoy it. And I thought, he believes we're gonna win. All right. I needed that. I needed somebody to tell me that. I thought we could win, but we weren't winning, and we weren't winning. So anyway, we won. We won 6-1. He picked up his running shoes and went on the run. And then this is when one of our former players comes into it, who's here tonight. So I won't embarrass you, Becca, but my first signee at Alabama in 1997 was Rebecca Baum from Gadsden, Alabama. And I asked Rebecca to come tonight. We hope that she doesn't go into labor tonight. And when she stands up in a minute, Rebecca, will you stand up? I asked Becca to come because Becca was my first signee at Alabama, and she was from the state of Alabama, and that was a really big deal to me. And Tommy Wade, who's a Hall of Famer, called me and said he knew that I was brand new to the state of Alabama and that I might not know all the players, and he said, you need to sign Rebecca Baum. I said, okay. So I watched her play. I watched her play in Memphis, the Clay Court Nationals, and the funny thing is we all listen to our parents all the time, right? That's what we're supposed to do, and we should do that. But Becca's mom wanted her to go to Furman. And I'm really glad that she didn't listen to her mom on that occasion. And she came to Alabama. I remember my in-home visit to Gadsden like it was yesterday. Her dad fixed me a steak on the grill, and he didn't really cook it. And I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? I can't eat this steak. So that kind of started off our relationship with Billy Baum, who still joins our booster club, and Rebecca finished in 2002, long time ago. But what I remember about Becca was in that 4th year when our backs were all against the wall, not just mine, but everyone's, and the team kind of knew what was going on. We go down to Auburn, and we beat Auburn 4-3. And I tell this story to our team, so our team knows this story about Becca. Becca is a very pretty, tall player that looks like a model. And she gets down, crouches down, and starts pumping her fist and yelling, let's go Alabama, and everybody was just ignited. And on that day, we beat Auburn for the first time, 4-3, and that set the tone for the whole program. And so it's very special tonight that Becca could be here with her husband, Matt, so thank you very much for being here. So the second story, Shelly Godwin's parents are here, Al and Karen Godwin. Shelly coaches at Middle Tennessee State. She's the head coach. She's doing a phenomenal job. Shelly Godwin will go down in history as being one of the best, if not the best, ambassadors that ever played a sport at Alabama, not just tennis. People come in your life at different times for different reasons, and Shelly Godwin was most assuredly supposed to come in my life at the time that she did, and her family. You don't know what's in front of you, and that's probably a good thing, but the Godwin family has been very good to me, very supportive, and let me tell you quickly how that story is. June 1st, 1997, I'm at the Hampton Inn. I'm on my first day of the job at Alabama. I'm sitting next to a father and his daughter, little daughter. They're having breakfast at the Hampton Inn, and the little girl's in gymnastics camp. So the father and I start talking, and one thing leads to another, and I say, well, this is my first day on the job. I'm the new Alabama tennis coach, and I'm so excited, and I think I had one Alabama shirt, I had it on, and so we start talking, and his daughter didn't play tennis. She was there for gymnastics camp. It was June 1st, 1997. when they left breakfast that day, Shelley Godwin said to her dad, "I'm going to play tennis at Alabama one day for her." And she did. She did. And she was, her senior year, she started us out clinching 2 matches against Arkansas and LSU, being down 5-2 and a set in 5-2 against Arkansas, and somehow finds a way to dig, claw, scratch, bite, and come back. And we beat Arkansas for the first time in a long time, 4-3. And that just set the tone again with Shelley Godwin, who was from Enterprise, Alabama. And then Courtney McLean, don't think I'm gonna forget you. Courtney McLean is here tonight. Courtney finished in 2011. Golly, geez, I'm getting old up there. Courtney McLean's from Georgia, Lawrenceville, Georgia, and she's here tonight with her mom, Angie. And I remember when I made an in-home visit to Courtney, and I thought, when I left, I was driving back to Tuscaloosa, and I thought, I think that's my little sister that I never had. I don't know, we just somehow connected and always got along, but I think one thing you have to learn as a coach is to stay out of the way of your players. It's hard to do because we all have egos. But you just kind of have to let them play and sometimes get out of their way. And Courtney McLean, Georgia, I don't think recruited Courtney maybe that hard. They looked at her, I'm sure, but we stole her at Alabama. So in her senior year, we're playing Georgia at Georgia. Courtney McLean's the last one on the court. Match scores 3-all. And she loves it. And I stayed out of her way. And she clinched the match for us. It was the first time we'd beaten Georgia since, I think, 1971. But Courtney taught me a lot, and Shelley taught me a lot, and Becca taught me a lot, as do my current players who are patiently probably waiting to eat. But they do mean that much to me. Like Coach Peterson said, they might not always think that, but it is true, and it's why I coach. But really the reason why I coach is because of Coach Peterson and my parents, who are the most influential people in my life, who gave me the opportunities to give something back and to affect people and to positively impact them every day, not just in tennis. I remember Rebecca driving home at one point, and I called her or texted her because there was a storm coming, and she's like, well, I don't know if my parents were checking on me. I was like, well, we gotta make sure you're not in a storm, you know? It goes well beyond the days of playing, but I want to thank everybody for being a part of it because it's a total team effort. Assistant coach is Ricky Dover Spike. He's amazing. He makes our team better every day, and he's a big reason why we're doing so well. He's got a lot of confidence. He was a great player, but he's a better coach than he was player, and he was a great player. All of the assistant coaches, managers, trainers, everybody that's had a hand in our program has made us better. It's never one person. They're all the ones doing all the hard work behind the scenes, and then somehow I look good. But it's all the hard work and all the hands on deck. So thank all of you, and thank my current team for being here and competing so hard, for being so prideful of wearing the A, and competing with dignity in class, which is what it's all about. Good sportsmanship. And I guess just to finish, I just want to thank the people. Emily Baker is a big reason that I'm here and that I'm still coaching at Alabama. She's been instrumental in the success of our program. She's built the community, helped us build the community, but really it started with her. She's kind of the mother of our program, and I'm convinced that the reason I'm here is because of Emily Baker. And you talk about somebody that's just given so much unselfishly, countless hours, passionate about tennis. So thank you, Emily. And there's a lot of other people that are here from the Tuscaloosa community. Thank you for being here and for believing in me, believing in our program, trusting us. And I said earlier, I felt like we were playing a home match today. I heard a lot of roll tides. Sorry, Becky. But I'd like to thank Jeff Gray. This was my first time meeting Jeff, but I'd heard a lot of good things about Jeff Gray, and they're all true. But the Hall of Fame committee, this is very special. I'll never forget this night and this. I will pay it forward. I will continue to give back. I'll continue to represent the state of Alabama in a very classy, dignified way, and we will continue to win, because we've got winners. And it started with Becca Baum. Those were the hard days. And you know Becca Baum, you know what Emily Zaber said in an interview a couple days ago? She said that all of you, that team, in 99, 2000, 2001, that y'all built the bridge for the team now. And there's no doubt that you did, but there's a lot of people that have made this possible. Elaine Francis, thank you very much. And all the ATA board, Donnie, Keith Swindoll, thank you. And I'll hand it off to the next one, but thank you very much.